into authentic conversations about ourselves and our community, exploring topics that uplift and inspire us. From personal growth to social change. So grab your teacup and get ready to join the conversation.
Using your staff, coercing them to work in furtherance of a crime.
You don't understand RICO. That is not that is a bad act. That's a bad act. It's not
Every
an
time
act in
anybody
furtherance of the
disagrees with you, they
conspiracy.
don't understand the
It has to be
law.
an act in furtherance of the conspiracy. What act is that
You're
in
off the
furtherance of
rails,
the
man.
racketeering conspiracy?
Nancy, I have a
You've
feeling
got
I'm
an
with you
ag
on this.
assault, you've got an arson, you've got transporting
labor,
prostitutes. It's
coerced
everything
labor.
the state promised, and now they're delivering, and you are squirming, and you can't
Coerced
stand it.
squirming.
When
It's not the
Ashley was
state,
just
Nancy.
explaining
I don't hear
that
it
to
either,
you,
so.
you were
Labor.
twisting and turning.
Ebony, hold on. Ebony.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they call Suge Knight? To me, this is two record companies where you're
He's got
basically
credibility of a pipe cleaner.
I'm sorry.
He's a murderer.
This would impact the jury.
Sorry,
Hold it,
Ebony.
Joe. Hold it, Joe.
All right,
Harvey,
sorry,
I
Ebony.
couldn't agree. Hey, listen. I could not agree with you more, and here's why. There's some major history here that is literally life and death. Let us go all back 20, 25 plus years to when Sean Combs was standing side by side essentially throughout the career of Biggie Smalls. And you know who was standing side by side of Suge Knight? The legendary Tupac Shakur. We know that both of those gentlemen ultimately lost their lives to tragic gun violence. And I think from a narrative standpoint, Harvey, of course, Sean Combs is not being charged with murder as a part of the RICO statute, the RICO count, but I think it broadens the lens to just how much scope could be at play with the level of impact, coercion, scheme, and pattern of Sean Combs. And I think that would have been very powerful for this jury to hear.
Okay. Cassie's mom testified this week, and I found this really interesting. To call Cassie's mom, which Diddy did, and essentially blackmail her. So this is the email that Cassie sent her mom. The threats that have been made toward me by Sean Puffy Combs are that he is going to release 2 explicit sex tapes of me, one on Christmas Day, maybe before or right after, and another one sometime soon thereafter that. She goes on to say, he has also said that he will be having someone hurt me and Scott Miscotti, who is Kid Cudi, physically. So she ends up then getting a call, the mother, from Sean Combs. And Sean Combs demands $20,000 from the mother because Diddy supposedly loaned her the money. And the mother has to then mortgage the house to get the $20,000. Aside from thuggery, this seems to align with the notion that they were hanging these sex tapes over Cassie's head. He was. And at one point on an airplane, he made it explicit, do a freak off or else I'm releasing them. I think this mother's testimony and the email is really damning for Diddy.
Yeah, the email's copied to the bookkeeper, by the way. The bookkeeper sends the wire instructions. So if you're looking for RICO, Joe Tacopina, when you use your bookkeeper to extort somebody for $20,000 within just a few days of sending that threat that you're going to release sex tapes, and when that mom gets on the stand and says, I was so fearful that my daughter was going to have sex tapes out, we mortgaged the house and we sent the $20,000.
But the mother was nowhere to be so in fear of the fact that Diddy kicked her teeth out of her goddamn mouth, gassed her head up, and kicked her spleen out of her motherfucking back, and did all the other horrible, awful things that she did. I don't know. I'm telling you, this could very well, because I don't trust a thing. This could have been orchestrated by Cassie from the jump on Diddy. Who knows? Who knows? This girl could have been somewhere, trumping the deck as far as what she could do. Say she finally realized that Diddy wasn't going to give her the life that she thought she was going to have with this 10 record deal shit. Who's to say that this girl didn't entrap Diddy? Because, okay, her mom is so in fear of her having X tapes out on her, but not all of the level of abuse that Diddy was doing to that girl, all of the nasty nature of the explicit X file freak offs they was doing, wild card nights or whatever the hell, King Wild Nuts, whatever the hell. She didn't care about that. She didn't care about the fact that Cassie was laying down with multiple ex-partners a day, all day long, for 24 hours of the goddamn day, for weeks on end. Escorts and prostitutes. She never cared about that. That was just a whole other walk in the park. But she cared about when Diddy was going to put the X tapes out about him. What? Okay, Cassie emailed her mom and told her. Did her mom give proof that she actually paid it? Did she show evidence in court that said, I paid it, here's the evidence, here's the money trail of me having to pay Diddy to not leak X tapes of Cassie? Because if not, it's just hearsay. It's just her word against Diddy's.
And there are receipts when you send a wire and you use your bookkeeper in Bad Boy Entertainment to actually ask for the money and send wire instructions. I don't see how you get past that.
Diddy didn't ask for the money. Cassie did. Cassie asked for the money. Diddy, where's the evidence that Diddy said, I'm going to put X tapes out on you if you don't do X, Y, and Z? Cassie's email to mom, Diddy is threatening me. So she said it. He didn't say shit, as far as we know. Show us he said it. All this, freak off that they're recording on her phone, but when it really needs to be recorded so we can understand what's going on after the setup fallout. Okay, it's starting to come to fruition. The setup, Cassie. Okay, that you have some evidence. Because I hate to be Cassie and Diddy gets acquitted. I'm telling you, I would. He's probably going to be very angry with her. Back to United States versus Sean Combs. TMZ presents.
You'd be right. I mean, listen, I'm not saying every argument that the prosecution's making false. That is a good argument. What Ashley just said is a good argument. I would say the reason why Mark Agnifilo did not cross-examine her, and I think that was the right move, is because he basically said, I have no questions for you because you're her mother. You're supposed to corroborate her story. You're supposed to back her up. No one would think you'd say anything otherwise. That's not why
he didn't ask her any questions.
Sure.
Joe, he didn't ask her any questions. No, there's plenty of mothers
that would be the argument summation. Ebony, that's why he didn't do it. I'm telling you.
She seemed credible. She seemed believable.
So what? So what? People lie through their teeth, knowing damn well they don't mean good on that shit. So what? She seemed credible. Y'all seem to want to lock Diddy up on some goddamn allegations, and that's not fair. Under his motherfucking human rights as a human being in 2025. This is not 1912. where somebody could say you kissed a white girl and you get hung for it. We do have some level of rights in this country as black people, don't we? One would hope, right? So what? She said it. She seemed credible. So what? Did she prove it? Did she say, see, Diddy even emailed me? Diddy emailed me, he called me, he texted me. When he called me and texted me, I recorded it on my phone. This is the recording of Diddy telling me, if I don't give him $20,000 by midnight, he's going to release X tapes on Cassie. Beep. Or, here's the money I wired Diddy. Here's where I went down to the bank and got a loan out on my home. Here's where I sent it to Diddy. I wired it to Diddy. I got a check for Diddy or something. I handed Diddy the cash. Here's the fucking, I had the phone on record. I recorded Diddy and me saying, here's the money, Diddy. Please don't put out X tapes about my daughter. Something. So what Cassie's mama said. Who the fuck is Cassie's mama? Oh, she's the woman that didn't even protect Cassie up until the point of he was allegedly going to put out X tapes on her. Now, how many of us as parents, right, would jump at the first idea of somebody doing to our daughter what Diddy did to Cassie? How far would Diddy get down the street with your baby? Okay. We're up on United States versus Sean Combs. TMZ presents.
There were things that he could have asked her that he probably didn't know the answer to, which could have led him down a road that would have made it worse for his client. Listen, we've seen plenty of mamas be a hot-ass mess on the stand that are gifts to the defendant. So I think that she just happened to be an extraordinary witness. I will also ask you this, Joe, to Ashley's point she just made, which you rightly conceded was brilliant.
I'm going to say this. I'm sick of Diddy ass too. I don't like Diddy. I ain't never cared for Diddy's ass. So, lock him up if you can prove it. If not, y'all finna let a monster back out on the street, which y'all have been known to do.
Here's the thing, though. How do you go through that level of proof of the argument and then say, by the way, what Cassie was doing was voluntary? How do you play that flip-flop game?
Because you then have text messages from Cassie that say it was voluntary. You have Cassie setting up these freak-offs on her own, even without his direction. So there are things you have to balance that.
You don't think the jury, Joe, is going to say, well, she probably would have said anything, knowing that he could reach the very person put on the earth to protect her, which is her mother, and he proved that even the mother can't protect her.
That's one instance.
Oh, the ones that we got out
the jury
the
could say that,
thing.
but they also could say, come on, and sometimes she was maybe coerced, sometimes she wasn't. There's too much inconsistencies here.
How many times does she have to be coerced for it to be criminal?
But one coercion equals sex trafficking, just one coercion. But I do agree with Tacopina on this. To have the mother up there on the stand, Regina Ventura, to cross-examine her after all this jury's already heard, that would make them turn against not only the defense lawyer, but against the client, Sean Combs, as well. That's a really good tactic not to tear apart the mother. They took out a line of credit.
Or is it pimping and pandering? How many people need to be involved for it to be considered X trafficking? Or is it just a pimping and pandering case? Okay, that didn't come up. How many people need to be involved for sex trafficking for it to be a RICO charge? So to trigger a RICO charge for X trafficking, there must be a pattern, generally involving at least 2 occurrences of criminal conduct within a 10-year period. That means that more than one person likely needs to be involved in the acts of trafficking for it to be considered a RICO violation. Did you hear that, Miss Nancy Grace? More than 2 people need to be trafficked, and at least more than one occurrence has happened. If not, it's just pimping and pandering charge.
On their home, they didn't have 20
state
grand
level.
because
Pimping and pandering is a state level, not federal.
Sean Combs was extorting them. Another facet of criminal enterprise. It's getting one nail in the coffin after the next. That's just another one. And I think Kid Cudi and the mother, Miss Ventura, were the 2 strongest witnesses for the state.
Brian, what did the jury think about Regina Ventura?
I can only tell you what their faces registered. And it was a typical New York moment. You know, these New Yorkers have seen everything. Nothing phases them. They watched her walk in, and then they watched her walk out. It was very short. And what was very interesting was the whole issue of the 20 grand wire, because the defense pulled it out in the testimony that the money, days later, went right back into their account. So
they said it. They said it. Prove it. Like, I hear that these, lawyers are the best in the country. Y'all better start showing it for they have this ass tucking and rolling into a federal penitentiary.
I think they felt bad for her, honestly. They looked at her with the glance you would give a woman whose child has just been on the witness stand for.
If I would have been a lawyer for Diddy, I'd have ate her alive. I wouldn't give a fuck about how meek, mild, old, none of that. Diddy's a high-profile, fucking wealthy person, which means defending his case can break or make my goddamn career. I'm gonna work, girl, okay? I would have ate her alive on the stand, period. Like, I hear you, Grandma. I hear you. Congratulations on your new grandbaby coming soon. 3rd baby with Alex Fine, the trainer back here that he hired for her. We see all of that. But can you please show me receipts of Diddy getting his money sent? Show us. Where is it at? Because if you got out the bank, there's a bank record. If you wired it, it's a record. If Diddy sent it back, it's a record of it.
Couple of days talking about the most intimate, most horrible parts of her life. So I think they appreciated hearing from Mom, but I don't know if it swayed them one way or the other.
I want to button something up because it's true that Diddy put the money back into her account a short time later. I think that makes him look worse because what it shows is that he just wants to show, here's the power I have over you. I think it makes him look awful putting the money back that way.
He extorted the money regardless of what he...
But does it put him at a high-level RICO charge criminal? Yes, wrong. We've already came to the understanding that Diddy is a stinking ass person, okay? He's a mean, evil person, okay? Mr. Diddy, he the Grinch around New York City and shit. We see that, okay? We see that. Scrooge and shit. Okay? But does that make him, a person that could be charged or whatever, okay, in a RICO charge for this shit? How high of a level of crime is that he did? If y'all could prove that Cassie mama wired money. I'm telling you, girl, please. Y'all done had a hung jury fucking with you.
He did with it. He
gotta be like, where the proof at? First, fuck all y'all. Where the proof at? Somebody better bring some type of proof up in here for me to see and believe it's real, for me to send a man to federal prison or Supermax in Colorado. Okay? So he could really be fucked up. And he ain't did these level of crimes. He should be down there in the state penitentiary some goddamn where. So we're back up with United States versus Sean Combs. TMZ presents
on this panel, except for Harvey, who's a billionaire. But other than that, you know, here's the thing. Here's the thing. We know it was the psychological warfare piece, Nancy. It was never about $5 or $20,000. It was to prove I can make you do whatever I want you to do, and you can't.
Well, we already know Diddy's that powerful. We know that. We know Diddy is that powerful. Why? He's a billionaire. If Diddy was not able to make people do what he wanted them to do, he would not be a fucking billionaire. It takes that level of power. Stop playing with that juice before you spill it. To get people to do what you want them to do. That's how kings and queens rule over kingdoms. That's how presidents rule over countries. That's how generals rule over armies. And that's how billionaires rule over their empires, by getting them to do what they want people to do. Period.
Thing about it.
And to prove it to Cassie, Ebony, because you go after her mother, she'll do anything. She'll do anything rather than see her parents suffering like Regina.
How? According to Cassie and them, Cassie's mama was somewhere struggling while Cassie was living it up as a billionaire. As a billionaire's concubine or wannabe or whatever, his goddamn, what do they call him, y'all? When they use you as a person to like shield the fact that they really like boys type shit. I can't think of what it's called. But whatever. While Cassie mama was working a regular 9-to-5 job, old as she was, barely paying her fucking mortgage. Cassie couldn't even get Diddy to pay her mama mortgage, bitch. So I don't want to hear none of this shit.
Even Ventura did.
So when Johnny and Amber were fighting each other in court, TikTok owned that story. They really did. And TikTok was where people got their news, and it was all opinion-based. But what was so interesting about it is that people listened, and they formed opinions based on TikTok. It is happening again with Diddy. This is an incredibly powerful platform. Smack the Messenger is a very popular person on TikTok who is following the trial. Smack is joining us. I'm wondering, from your vantage point, and especially with all the people who look at your platform and what you do, how are people receiving it so far?
So I do polls every day when I do my lives in the afternoon to kind of go over the court case during the day. And right now, the last one we did yesterday, it was 54% said he was guilty, and it was like 40-something% said that he wasn't. The rest of the people in my live said that they don't know yet. It's still 50-50. But honestly, in the lives on TikTok and from the people talking from the outside of the courtroom, we're more so arguing about is he charged with the right things. Honestly, a lot of people don't think that that RICO is the proper charge, and also the sex trafficking. With what you guys were just talking about, I honestly think that they are putting the nails in the coffin. I think it's just little by little, and I think that because we're outside of the case, we just know everything from the past, and we're so ready to get to the point. But for the most part, though, a lot of people are arguing over, are these the right charges?
RICO in particular?
RICO in particular, and also the sex trafficking, because it's a back and forth of, was Cassie truly involved with it, or was she a victim? It just depends on who you ask.
Well, you know, it's interesting because you said it's almost 50-50 when you put polls up, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So that's called a hung jury if it's a jury.
Correct.
Thank you.
Right?
Exactly.
And, you know, in some ways, guys, a hung jury is a victory for the defense because then they get to see the prosecution's case.
It's so different in the courtroom than it is out in the headlines, guys. Honest to God, when you sit through these cases in the courtroom and you listen to every bit of testimony, and by the way, these jurors have nothing else to do but listen to what's happening in front of them all day long. then you get a very different picture. I can tell you from experience,
Ashley, you're
the days
100%
that I've
right.
been in court compared to the days I've just seen the headlines, people outside don't understand some of these verdicts sometimes.
Correct.
Casey Anthony, I don't want to get Nancy started on Casey Anthony, but if you don't sit through the case and hear all of the evidence, you don't understand what the actual case and the actual evidence
Ashley, you're right.
leads to.
And the difference between a federal trial that is not televised and it's only reported, as opposed to the trial I just went through with A$AP Rocky in Los Angeles that was televised, and everyone got to see every witness and every question asked and sit like a juror. If they really watched the whole trial, they were sitting like a juror. You get to actually analyze it. In federal court, there are no cameras, so there's no way you could assess if the case is going well for one side or the other unless you're sitting in that courtroom and watching every bit of testimony, not reading a two-paragraph analyzation by somebody.
I got to stop everybody because you're doing something really wrong. How many witnesses will it take that state she had knots on her head? I saw him drag her by her hair. I saw him hit her in the head with a frying pan, a hot frying pan full of eggs. It goes on and on and on, and we're still talking about.
So, I mean, what? Just because, Diddy's a billionaire, y'all want to give him a RICO charge because he domestically assaulted Cassie? Because a whole lot of us have gone through domestic violence situations and still are. And we haven't seen one federal agent kick in our goddamn dough and take our goddamn abusers out of here and drag them off to fucking federal court. So what is it? Just because Diddy's a billionaire, so that takes it back to his lawyer saying that's the reason why y'all are attacking him at the fucking federal level.
You too, Smack. You too. Was she in on it? I mean, he hit her in the head with a frying pan.
So you hurled that at Smack. Smack, what's your response?
So with me, I try to stay neutral in this because I really like to let the courts do their job. These are the arguments that we have because I make it a safe space in my platform to let both sides talk. I don't even tell my opinion, but just like you're saying, Nancy, I understand that part. He was a horrible person in a relationship, and I agree with that. Everybody, I think, can agree with that.
A whole lot of us. Okay, so after y'all come and get Diddy, I got a few motherfuckers I know y'all need to round up. So get the paddy wagon ready. I got a few motherfuckers y'all need to round up that are also some despicable, disgusting ass Mr. Grinch ass motherfuckers, okay? After y'all get done with Diddy, y'all get the paddy wagons because I got niggas I need y'all to come pick up around where we at.
But like I said, the main argument at hand for the most part is it RICO and is it sex trafficking? And I feel like
hell,
we shouldn't even be
talking about that. Around where I'm at, I got a list of men I need you to grab up.
How many women is it going to take? How many more victims to say he beat me, he drugged me, I didn't go along with this, I didn't want this? What? They're all lying, and he is the only one telling the truth. That's BS.
Well, Miss Nancy, he did, or she did, Cassie did testify to her wanting it at times. Diddy being her pop, that she used to reference her dear grandfather as. She gave Diddy that loving, enduring nickname of her grandfather. Y'all carry on. We are watching TMZ Presents United States versus Sean Combs and giving it our review. Let's get it.
Respond to that, Smack. I mean, she's making a point that she's saying you're ignoring the evidence that there is time after time when she's been beaten, and you're being really insensitive to a situation that Nancy is saying is apparent.
I don't think I'm being insensitive. I think that, like I said, I'm going with what they have in the court so far. And yes, they have presented the fact that he was doing that to Cassie. I agree with that. I agree wholeheartedly.
You didn't hear about that frying pan, man? Frying pan to the head? Insensitive, my rear end. That is hard evidence.
Why y'all didn't lock up Mike Turner when you smashed Tina Turner in the goddamn head?
I understand that, but
the
we've asked the
hotel.
question. I gotta have time to answer it.
Mac,
I get what you're saying, and I agree with what you're saying as well. But like I said, the arguments that I have been hearing, because I don't put my own inputs in, they have been, okay, well, we know that he was a horrible person in a relationship, But what was Cassie's role in this? And to
Smack,
know who Sean Combs is and who Cassie is.
Let me help you, Smack. Let me help you, Smack. Here you go. So this is where the prosecution needs to bring in another expert of the caliber of Dr. Don Hughes to explain to Smack and his followers that, guess what? Oftentimes, Smack, victims of sex trafficking get roped into the execution of the trafficking. That is extraordinarily common.
In my live, Dr. Hughes was a horrible witness to the people who were in my live, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because when they started asking about Cassie's feelings toward what was happening in the relationship, how did she respond to Diddy? My followers didn't like the fact that she started talking about like taking your laptop away as if she was prepared to incorporate what happened with Diddy with how she looked at the entire situation. They feel like she was coerced by the prosecution.
Okay.
What?
So, Smack,
It's a total different view on TikTok from what's going on outside or on.
I think I can summarize this.
And,
I think I can
I'm
summarize
glad
this,
he
Harvey,
said that because that's another thing that happened to Cassie when she didn't do what Diddy said. He took her computer.
Thanks for watching. Remember to show your support by liking, subscribing, and sharing. It's a blessing. Keep your teacups filled and ready for my next upload. Until then, stay inspired and remember, always stay sifted.